The regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the 29 Palms Water District, July 23rd, 2025 at 4 p.m. This meeting may be viewed on the district's website at www.29palmswater.net. The board reserves the right to discuss only and take any action on any item on the agenda. Roll call, Cindy.
Director Arthur Dobson. Director Bowden.
Here.
Director Coghill.
Here.
Director Leeser.
Here.
Director Woods.
Here.
And next on the agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Pritchett, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Teddy. Teddy and I played high school football together back in the 70s, 69, 70.
car races.
That too. That too. Additions or deletions to the agenda, are there any? Good, thank you. Public comment. Please complete a request to be heard from form prior to the start of the meeting. The public may address the board for 3 minutes on any district-related matters. Government code prohibits the board from taking actions on matters that are not on the agenda. However, the board may refer matters for future consideration. Are there any public comments?
There are none.
Okay, thank you. And item number 1 on the agenda, the Legislative Affairs Update. Bill Matters.
Good afternoon, President Coghill and members of the board. Today before you making the presentation for Legislative Affairs is Yasmin Nubandi with Ortega Strategies and also with the Community Water Systems Alliance.
Hi, good evening. It's so nice to see everybody again today. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me and for letting me give this update. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Yasmin Nubani. I work with Ortega Strategies Group. We are a consulting firm that manages the Community Water Systems Alliance as well as Cal Mutuals. And I also do some work directly with the district as well alongside Matt. I help do some advocacy work up in Sacramento for regulatory and legislative affairs. So I'm just here to kind of give you an annual overview of some of our activity for this year, a little bit from the end of last year, and a little bit of some of the old regulations that I know that Matt's going to speak about a little bit later. I can hold questions until the end if that works. I'll keep it pretty simple and I can dive deeper into anything if you need me to. There's a lot of knowledge up in this brain on a lot of the legislative stuff, so I don't want to go too deep in the weeds with that. But just to start off, Chromium-6, I know that I've presented on this before. Last year when I came up, I presented on Chromium-6 as well. It is still an ongoing regulatory issue for us. Compliance is still in effect as of right now. We did in the past submit comment letters, written comment, and also presented oral comments at the State Water Board meetings and hearings. Trying to advocate for some more flexibility in the regulations, some more funding for disadvantaged communities, trying to basically push back a little bit against this and say, we can't do this if it's going to cost us a little bit too much to do so. So that did move forward. The MCL was set at 10 parts per billion. As you all know, that was passed in 2023. But we are still making some progress on the funding front. So currently right now, we have made, I believe, 2 oral comments, and we are working on a written comment letter right now. Trying to get the State Water Board to allocate some funding from the State Revolving Fund for Chromium-6 treatment. So that would be available to any system who's going to be impacted by the Chromium-6 MCL. Would open it up to not just disadvantaged communities, although most of the funding that the State Water Board provides is mostly for disadvantaged communities and smaller systems. But trying to get a little bit more of that Proposition 4 funding, which is from the bond measure that was just recently on the ballot for clean energy, clean water. I'm trying to get some of that directly allocated for Chromium-6 because we know funding applications are very impacted in the state. There's not a lot of funding, budgetary-wise. So that's most of the, action going on with Chromium-6 right now. So not too much more right now. As terms of legislative and regulatory updates, I'll start with the legislative with bills. There's really only 2 bills we've been working on this year that I think are really of interest to the district and directly impacting or semi-adjacently impacting the 29 Palms and Yucca Valley area. The first one I'll talk about is SB 466 by Senator Caballero. This one was sponsored by Coachella Valley Water District. It originally was intended to exempt water systems from lawsuits, third-party lawsuits, while they're working towards complying with the Chromium 6 MCL. So basically, just if you're showing, if you have a plan presented to the state and you're waiting on approval for that plan, or if you have an approved plan for compliance for treatment for Chromium 6 and you're actively working towards compliance but you're not there yet, just making sure that you're not getting lawsuits that are going to balloon the cost of those projects or put a burden on your customers and make water bills go up if lawsuits do happen with litigation. That can be very expensive. So just trying to make sure that systems who are doing their due diligence and who are working towards being good stewards of their water and cleaning their water up don't get hit with those lawsuits. So that's what it started out as. As of, I think, just last week, there have been some amendments to that to basically open it up. Instead of exempting water systems from lawsuits, it now deems a system considered in compliance if they're working towards compliance. So even if their numbers are over the MCL, if you have an approved compliance plan, or if you're working towards compliance right now or waiting for an compliance plan to be approved, you're not considered out of compliance, which means there's much less likelihood of lawsuits. And it's basically to make sure that systems that are being negligent don't fall through the cracks and can still be sued if they are just blatantly disregarding the MCL. Mm-hmm. So we have been directly involved in this bill. So the amendments were done in conjunction with us and the author's office. We also are co-sponsoring the bill with Coachella Valley Water District, so we've been heavily involved. We've made public testimony up in Sacramento, which has been awesome. I believe that, I don't know if 29 Palms did an individual comment letter on this in support.
I think we did.
Yeah, I believe so. I know you signed on to one, and we did one as Community Water Systems Alliance as well. So overall, have been very supportive of these efforts, trying to make sure that there's relief for systems and they don't get hit with a bunch of lawsuits over this. The other bill I want to talk about is AB 1089, which has to do with the Western Joshua Tree Conservation Act. I know that this one is not so directly impacting for you guys. I know you don't have a lot of Joshua trees in your area that would affect your projects, but your neighbors over at High Desert Water District and Joshua Basin Water District, thank you, sorry. They are going to be really, really impacted by this. And so are individual homeowners. CWSA actually spearheaded a coalition of a lot of stakeholders. So, building interest, agricultural, local governments, county governments, and individual homeowners, as well as water agencies, to come together and really try to get some balance put into the regulations. Because the way that they were originally written, it was going to pile tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on projects, just even on an individual. If you're going to make an improvement to your home, if you have to do maintenance on your septic tank, like you're talking tens of thousands of dollars, and just permits for the Joshua Tree only. So we were trying to get some good provisions put in there, and we've been working with the author's office on this bill to try to get some of those provisions put into law, just to make sure that it does get codified and does provide relief for people. So we have made some headway with that. We've had several meetings with the author's office. We've come down here quite a bit and talked to Mojave Desert Land Trust, as well as the Department of Fish and Wildlife on this, to get that balance put in. And they have made several concessions that we are pretty happy with. We are still working a little bit on that, but I can go deeper into those too if you have any questions about that. And finally, I just wanted to report too that in May we did a CWSA Advocacy Day where we met with, I think it was 13 legislators, Department of Fish and Wildlife, and we made in-person public comment at the State Water Board hearing. All of this was just to advocate for more funding for Chromium 6, try to get that funding allocated from Proposition 4 funds. Also to get more affordability considerations. One of the biggest issues that we've seen in the past is that the State Water Board's economic feasibility study is not always reflective of the burden that regulations can put on households. So the way that impacts just a bottom line water bill is, some areas when a regulation gets passed, their water bills will double just for trying to comply with it through no fault of their own. And sometimes we think that that's not, and the way that the regulations are supposed to be passed is supposed to be more balanced in terms of if it's affordable to treat to this level, or it's affordable to impose this regulation, and it makes sense to do so in terms of scientifically, then we should. But it should not go farther than what is affordable. And we see a lot of the time that they still sometimes pass regulations that go a little too far. So we were trying to advocate for a more holistic approach for an economic feasibility study that really shows that and reflects that impact to systems with especially severely disadvantaged communities and how that impacts customers in general as well. And finally, some of the other efforts I do, so on the side, as well as legislative and regulatory efforts, I also work with Matt on stuff, communications for the district, so press releases and a couple other things. And one thing that we launched this year is the 29 Palms newsletter. It's an online e-newsletter. It comes out once a quarter. Just a couple of short articles, mostly about conservation, your water quality, how we get our water, where it comes from, and the good stuff that you guys do at the district, because you're a very well-run district, and I think that's something to celebrate and that the community should know more about. So that's kind of the condensed version of things that we've done in the past year. If you have any questions about anything else, any bills that you've heard of that I might know about, I'm happy to answer any questions on all of that.
Dr. Bowden, do you have any questions, sir?
I have a comment.
Please.
I like the idea of letting the people know what we do. So if you come up with better ideas or see some out there in the real big world, help us out, because we don't have any controversy here.
Yeah.
So that some people think that we're an unknown. So we do a great job. I was thinking on my way over here, one of the reasons I wanted to be on the water board when I was asked to was they seem to do everything right. I want to go over and see if they're right, because I'm the guy that wants to find something wrong. So far, everything's been right.
Kept you honest.
Lack of drama.
Yeah, lack of drama. So I like that, what you said about outreach to the public. As long as the water turns on and it tastes all right, they're never going to complain, I don't think. Unless the prices go up, maybe. Maybe we should raise the price to see if we can get some people to show up.
We'll talk about the rate study in my management.
It'll just be transient like the fire department thing.
Thank you,
And
Larry.
then we'll-
Director Woods? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt at all. I just was going to piggyback off that a little bit too and just say, I think outreach to the community is awesome. 29 Palms has been recognized on a national level as well, international level for your treatment plant, and I think that's really something to celebrate. That's something that, put you guys on the map in the water world at least, right? But I think your community should really know what an awesome job you guys do. I know that our advocacy efforts have been really cool to get our name recognized at the state water board level. So 2 years ago when we were working on the conservation regulations that were passed, Matt and I worked really closely on that. We submitted like 3 or 4 comment letters, provided oral comment at least 3 times. Just when they initially came out, 29 Palms was set up to do, it was like 34% water reduction, like mandated by the state, which, I mean, if you're out here, there's no real lawns, right? It's all desert landscaping, and then you go to somewhere like Irvine and there's lawns everywhere in, Orange County. And so seeing that discrepancy and like, why is this hitting so hard at 29 Palms? We really made a huge effort to educate the board members and let them know that there's something off in what they were doing. And we brought Laurel Firestone down here, did a tour of the area, and that actually resulted in one of the hearings for those regulations. Laurel Firestone brought up 29 Palms and was talking about how she had been to the area and how much education that provided and how impressed she was with the operations here. And it's really cool, like those are the big wigs in water, so it's really cool to see people on that level and in the water world being able to recognize that and know that you guys are doing a really, really good job of being really good stewards of your water. And I think the community deserves to celebrate that as well.
Director Woods?
No questions, thank you.
Director Leisure?
Hi, Yasmin. Yeah, I got a question on this AB 1089, this Joshua tree thing. Does that reg only apply to Joshua trees in like the Joshua tree forested areas, or to like people that have incidental Joshua trees down here in our area?
So it applies to people who have incidental. It's anywhere where Joshua trees are located. It's not actually
Not whether they were native or transplanted from somewhere else?
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay.
really discriminate between any of them. It's pretty much a blanket regulation. So for this effort, there's been efforts in the past to get the Joshua tree listed as an endangered species, which has not moved forward. So a bill was passed, I believe it was the end of the last legislative cycle, that essentially it gave it endangered species status without actually giving it endangered species status by putting this plan in place. And so that's where all this is coming from. And that's why it impacts such a huge range of we're talking like Landers, Bighorn Desert, View Water, and she's going to get hit huge with this. So it's going to have a really widespread impact, and I think the thing that really sucks and why the education of these legislators and going up and doing the advocacy is so important is that when this bill first got passed, the legislator who carried the bill forward had never even been to the area. So he didn't know, that their Joshua trees are very abundant and they're everywhere and they're integrated into infrastructure. There's local ordinances already that protect them, right? And you guys obviously know that most people who've grown up in this area love the Joshua tree, and that's it's a staple of the landscape. And they almost, I don't want to say they regretted carrying the bill, but they were just unaware of the consequences of passing the bill, and now we're seeing that in real time. And so that's where a lot of that comes from. So this aims to correct some of the oversight that we're seeing with this regulation right now.
Can I add to the Joshua
Because
Tree
don't
comment,
never
though?
invent being wrong in the decision or uninformed. They'll never take it back.
Yeah.
So,
So to add to the Joshua Tree bill, Yucca Valley is about to go into phase 2 of their sewer project, and they're looking at a $102 million project. $17 million was going to be on
Joshua trees.
permits for Joshua trees. I think with the new amendments that have just passed in the last week, they've got it down to 1.7 million. So these agencies where they're getting, High Desert Water District's got a $102 million grant to do the second phase. They're paying federal entities millions of dollars for permitting where they're getting the money from federal entities. So the argument for us to make, including 29 Palms, we have to, as the Community Water Systems Alliance, stay on the same issues that we have in the region. May not be a 29 Palms issue today, right, or Joshua trees, but if we all stay on these issues together, we throw our names in the hat too. So we try to get on the signing letters. It's not going to affect 29 Palms as much as it is High Desert, Joshua Basin, and Bighorn. But it's something as the Community Water Systems Alliance, we're going to stay on, and we're going to put our name to the fight with it every time it comes up. Chrome 6, though, is another one where we're doing the desktop study. We approved the desktop study with KJ, Kennedy Jenks Engineering, and Corona Environmental. And we are going to be in the process of submitting an application for getting back paid on the desktop study and any Chrome 6 studies we're doing at Well 11B. So we can try to recoup that money. There is going to be some money out there. There's not a lot of people with full applications out. And one of the reasons why full applications aren't out right now is you have to have a compliance plan in place, and nobody knows how they're going to mitigate the issue yet. So how do you get a compliance plan in place when you don't have treatment for the constituent that we're talking about? So this district is trying to be proactive, doing the desktop study, doing some piloting, and we already may have an idea of how we're going to treat. We may be one of the first districts that gets to do a full application for our compliance plan. Right now the well is off. We're not putting the scare material out to our public. But the efforts that the Community Water Systems Alliance and Ortega Strategies does for us up in Sacramento is amazing. I've made trips up there and spoke at the State Capitol Water Board, and it's neat to hear that Laurel Firestone and Joaquin Escalin have talked about our district, saying there's not much 29 Palms can do, especially in the way of conservation as a way of life, which we'll talk about next. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
So I know with being on the ad hoc committee here, going to Sacramento and talking to our state legislatures up there, we've had some success, we've had some failures. We went up there, and one question we asked them was, we have a application in for a grant, and it's been in play for like 3 years, back in the day, a couple years back. And we got to talking about them, and they said, well, let us check into it for you and see what happens. It was about, what, 4 months later, we come back and we were denied. After 3 years, and then we talked to them, maybe we just, punched a sleeping bear, I don't know. But our application was denied for something that we wanted to do. So we ended up going into our funds and put forth the project, because it was only escalating and escalating. So I wish you luck with your grant applications. I hope things have changed and it's a smoother road than what we had to go down. With the passage of the big beautiful bill, the California Air Resources Board has been virtually defunct, or will be, as of January 1st, be defunct in California. And the money that's going to be clawed back from that, they're supposed to reissue it to the people of the state for something that they shouldn't have been doing to begin with, emissions. And I'm wondering if the Environmental Protection Agency is going to look at the water quality arena in California, because our level is up here, the rest of the 47 is right here. It's billions of dollars, multi-billions of dollars to get to this level. Why can't we bring it down to this level and everybody saves money? I haven't heard anybody in Missouri dying of Chrome-6 poisoning. Just an example, just throwing it out there. I just wonder if the EPA is gonna look at that arena in all of this. I would hope they would, but we'll wait to be seen.
Yeah, I think that's something.
And thank you for what you guys are doing with the water lines. Thank
Of course,
you.
it's-
I'm glad to see you made it here safely.
Thank you. And I'm always proud to represent 29 Palms, and it's really special to work with you guys directly as well and see everything you guys do out here. So hopefully we can get some funding answers for you soon, especially with the EPA step. I think that all remains to be seen, unfortunately. That stuff always seems to move either super slowly or way too quick to keep up. So,
Yes, yeah.
Yep, fingers crossed that they do look at the water quality concerns.
Thank you very much.
Of course, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, moving right along. Item number 2 on our agenda, Conservation as a Way of Life Compliance Summary for the 29 Palms Water District. John Manager?
Good afternoon again. Making conservation a way of life was a regulation that has gone into effect. The calculated objective for residential water use here in 29 Palms in 2024 is 55 gallons per capita per person. The objective for fiscal year 23-24 was 2,384 acre feet. And the district met their goal by only using water of, our water objective or our water final use was 2,038 acre feet, a difference of 112 million gallons of water. So the exciting thing is talking to KJ about this topic is they've never seen a report come back from the state, and attached in this attached in your presentation today is the state report back from Conservation is a Way of Life saying that we've met our objective. KJ was really intrigued that they've never seen it from another water district, that the objective or the report came through from the State Water Resources Control Board. So today before you is just the report. Background is to have the discussion and see if you guys have any comments or questions on Conservation is a Way of Life.
Director Leisure, I'll start on this side of the aisle.
No comments.
Director Woods? Director Bowden?
How come it took you so long to tell me my toilet was leaking? $500. It wasn't leaking, it was flowing, and I was out of town.
Well, and with our new NAA system, we try to catch those. The customer portal is something we're still talking about. So a customer portal would alert somebody, hey, your meter hasn't shut off today. But right now, this district is the only district up here in the desert that has 100% AMI capabilities, automated meter infrastructure. So our meters that are reading excellent, which is about 97% of the meters, we're getting 24 reads a day from. Why yours wasn't caught that day, I'm sure you were coming up on a list that continual use was happening.
The guy showed up and told me that I have a water leak.
Yeah, so that is something that the district does. We have a guy concentrated on the system that is catching continual use leaks like yours.
I was with someone in Ace Hardware just 2 days ago that was buying new stuff for their toilet. They said, yeah, we couldn't even hear it. It was such a slow leak, but it was using enough water that you guys called them and let them know.
Yeah.
See, we're doing good things.
Even the Conservation is a Way of Life, there's some variances that we did not apply for right away. So we're going to get some more information on swamp cooler variances and some of the different variances that are going to help us in the future. But right now, if you look at the report, we're good till about 2030, 2040. But I say don't look at that too close. We have a really hot summer, and 250, 300 acre feet is going to be that summer's use. So we fluctuate anywhere from 2,400 acre feet to about 2,000 acre feet. And that's a big fluctuation. An acre foot of water is 325,000 gallons of water. So in the year where they say our objective, was 2384, that's almost 800 million gallons of water that this district is using. And we were cut down to 664 million. That's pretty impressive. When something hits me where I know we have a regulation coming up, you'll ask Yasmin and you'll ask KJ, the engineers. Matt's always wondering, are we on track, and don't let us get out of track. Some of that's not going to be on us. It's going to be dictated by the weather that we have and how much water we produce.
It's funny you should bring that up, because I remember going to Sacramento on the ad hoc committee, and we were talking to our legislators about water use, and we came up to we finally tried to remind them that a one-size-fits-all plan is not going to work in California. It's too diversified. The deserts, the sea, the mountains, whatever you want to call it, it's too diversified. And we were telling them about our swamp coolers, and they had no idea, literally, they had no idea of what an evaporative cooler was until we explained to them what it was and how it worked for our desert area and the ramifications that could have on the young, the sick, the elderly, whatever you want to call it. And we got their attention. Whether we got a seat at the table or not, waits to be seen. But they understood it better when Triumph Palms left. So
They're listening.
they're listening. They're listening. I can't, when legislatures hear when elected officials hear it from another elected official, they tend to listen. So I'll give them that. But it was good going to Sacramento. I enjoyed it. Any other comments, questions, concerns, criticisms? No?
No, I did notice that there was an evaporative cooler variance though listed on there.
And that we have not applied for
We have
yet.
not
So
applied
we're even in a better place as soon as that variance can come into place.
The electric company used to give you a rebate if you'd switch out central air for a water cooler. Maybe we should give them a rebate if they go back to
Switch it, yeah. Director Woods, anything?
No, I just think it's, what a fantastic service or ability to provide a service, to tell a customer that they might have a problem, instead of just letting them have the problem
Yeah.
and pay for that.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is customer service at its finest. I'm really proud of that.
I'm glad we went with that system. I really am. Anything?
I
Nope,
second that.
nope, I had a water leak down in my other water district, and they weren't as nice. They told me 2 days later at 160 PSI water pressure. And I got a door notice, you've used 40 feet of water, 40 units. And they don't do payment plans for my sister who's low income, but I had to show proof of repair. Then they had to drive by and verify there was no more water flow, and they gave me like $123 credit back on the water bill. So, different water district, different rules.
Yeah.
So,
All right, moving right along. Next item is our consent calendar. Matters under the consent calendar are to be considered routine and will be acted on by a single motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless the board, staff, or public request specific items be removed for separate discussion and action before the board votes on the motion to adopt. They include the minutes of the regular and special meeting held on June 25th of this year, and also the audit list. Looking for a motion? Looking for a motion?
I moved that we approve.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. That negates item 4 because there was nothing removed. Item 5, manager's report. Maintenance. Superintendent Administrator.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Board of Directors. The Operation and Maintenance Department performed the following tasks during the month of June. Responded to 91 USAs, 7 leak audits, 34 shutoffs, 579 total completed work orders, 166 valves exercised, tested and exercised emergency generators, sounded wells for June. There were 1,265 past due bills, totaled $7,103, and we installed 3 new services for the month of June. And if the board has any questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Are you in charge of the road repair over on, is it Pinion? Is that moving along, or?
I can speak about it in the management report, but I'll speak about it now. So Pinion is complete. Pinion was the problem child AC pipe that we had on the ground. Mike Minitry and his crew, along with Rob, he was out on the job. It did install 1,200 feet of new C900 water main. Right now, we are in the process of getting an asphalt contractor to fix the back side of the road on Pinion and complete the work of the trench line. So right now it's temporary patched, which is temporary asphalt, and we're looking for a T-clip grind down, street repair. We're looking at a repair of probably anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 just on asphalt work. So we're on the last stages of Pinion being complete.
That's what I was asking.
Moving on,
Moving on.
moving on.
Moving on.
Nothing for me.
All right, moving on. Next up is Superintendent Sheldon with our water quality.
Water quality for the month of June, chlorine level in the distribution system averaged 0.36 milligrams per liter. Bacteria samples, we pulled 67, all came back absent for call alert. And we took 15 samples throughout the distribution system for fluoride, with the average being a 1.20 milligrams per liter. Water production, we were down 2.5% compared to a year ago, and we were down 25% compared to 2013. If you have any questions?
Any questions of our?
What happened in 2013? Why was it so high?
Construction,
Really?
yeah, the casino.
We use that as our baseline because that was the construction, the largest construction of the time. So we use that as a baseline.
And 2013 was also used as the baseline where we had to compare back to 2013. So that's why we continue to do that.
It seems a little confusing, but there's reasons for it. Thank you, Robert. Next up on the list is our finance consultant.
Good evening, Board of Directors. Included in your packets this evening are financial reports for the month ended May 2025. All else being equal, target budget percentage as of this month would be 92% of the fiscal year. I don't have a lot of comments on the financial reports tonight. Everything continues to trend very well, right along budget overall. Operating revenues, nearly right on the dot at 93%. Non-operating revenue has exceeded budget, but that's due to various insurance reimbursements received throughout the year. And our operating expenditures as a whole, district-wide, we're sitting at 88%, so about 4% under budget, just a little from being right on track. Everything continues to truck right along and look good through the end of the fiscal year. I'll take a moment just to talk about year end, because I know next we won't be having our August meeting. So in the coming months here, myself and finance staff at the district will start gearing up to close the fiscal year. Our audit is scheduled to take place at the end of October. Auditors will be on site, I believe, the week of October 27th to perform their field work. So myself, district staff will get the books closed and prepare all those year-end entries ahead of that date. I believe we're shooting for delivery of the audited report at December? Yeah. So December is our target to have audited financials delivered to the board. With that, happy to answer any questions on these reports.
You said insurance adjustments? Why did we have a...
Oh, so there are a few different insurance reimbursements that have come in throughout the year related to the generator that was stolen, and then subsequently we repaired. Can you speak to that a little bit more, Max? That's the...
Yeah, reimbursed, sometimes if a hydrant gets hit, we'll go after the insurance company of the person that hit the hydrant. So there's some, we did have a motor on one of the trucks that went bad that was out of warranty that we did do some reimbursed expense. So just different things throughout the year that would make our revenue seem higher as we go after insurance claims.
Right, but the primary was that the stolen generator and the insurance reimbursement we received to buy the replacement and also do the repairs on the recovered generator. So.
And then they say keep it.
Yep.
So we do. Score.
Good.
Director Woods? Director Lee?
None, thank you.
All right. Next up is our general manager.
For the month, district staff submitted the new cross-connection control plan to the district engineer. The new cross-connection control plan was rewritten in accordance with California's State Water Resources Control Board's cross-connection control program handbook. After approval from the district state engineer, staff will be working on doing a code amendment and doing an ordinance amendment on the cross-connection control for the district. Staff has reached out to companies. We did an RFP process for the rate study, and we are in the process of signing the professional service agreement with Water Resources Economics to start that study next month, beginning of next month. District staff is also in the process of selecting the consultant for the urban water management plan. The proposals are in, and we're in the process of checking over the proposals, and they're under the 75. I think we budgeted 100 on the urban water, if I could remember correctly. Some exciting news last week. On the 17th, district posted the redundant reservoir project and booster station at the treatment plant out for bid. So the district put out a $2 million project on public purchase. We do the walk next week with projected contractors. It is a mandatory walk that they be at this meeting. Public purchase is who we did the engineering through on this job. So public purchase is where anybody can go to and see the project. I believe the project is over 700 pages in specifications and plans. So look forward to bidding that by mid-September and bringing it to the board at the September meeting. There's a lot of money in the budget for the next 2 years on this project. So we're excited that this project could take off a little longer than I expected. I was hoping that engineering would be done by the beginning of the year, but here we are. And some of it was us, and some of it was the contractors, engineering, waiting on specifications on the SCADA controls and different things that we're going to be doing at the treatment plant. Just wanted to remind everybody that the district's board meeting next month would be canceled, and our next meeting will be in September. Something that we did throughout the month that we did not talk about is district staff, including the new employees, did all their SIMS and NIMS 100, 700 emergency management training, followed by the next day that we did a desktop exercise with all of district staff. So Gary started in with emergency management, came to the district for 2 days, did the training, and we are going to put on an outside tabletop exercise as well. The Pinion job was something I was going to talk about. We're looking to complete that with some asphalt contractors. And really this month also the water availability assessment starts. So new fiscal year, we're going after water availability assessments. So as much as the board packet was a little slim, we're still working behind the scenes on so many miscellaneous jobs and projects. It was kind of nice that we could have more of a discussion board meeting this month. So if the board has any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Dr. Leeser.
None. Thank you, Matt.
Director Bowden. And to think, this redundant water supply at finished water reservoir all started with a request to get the baffles removed, or the struts removed, and how we're going to take care of the rust spots. And now we're into this. And it all started way back when. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. Future agenda items and staff tasks, director's comments and reports. Besides the conference in Monterey, scheduled the last week of August, I don't have anything. Gentlemen, ladies.
None for me.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
You have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.